Today, as we celebrate Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, let's think about all the ways that we can make a difference in other people's lives too. Because even though we may be just one small person, we can make a big difference to somebody else. To help us think about all the ways we can be amazing people, I have a really good book. It's by somebody you might know, President Barack Obama. He wrote a book to his daughters called Of Thee I Sing, A Letter to My Daughters, illustrated by Loren. Have I told you lately how wonderful you are? How the sound of your feet running from afar brings dancing rhythms to my day? How you laugh and sunshine spills into the room? Have I told you that you are creative? A woman named Georgia O'Keeffe moved to the desert and painted petals, bone, bark. She helped us see big beauty in what is small, the hardness of stone and the softness of feather. Have I told you that you are smart? That you braid great ideas with imagination? A man named Albert Einstein turned pictures in his mind into giant advances in science, changing the world with energy and light. Have I told you that you were brave? A man named Jackie Robinson played baseball and showed us all how to turn fear to respect and respect to love. He swung his bat with grace and the strength of a lion and gave brave dreams to other dreamers. Have I told you that you are a healer? Sitting Bull was a Sioux medicine man who healed broken hearts and broken promises. It is fine that we are different, he said. For peace, it is not necessary for eagles to be crows. Though he was put in prison, his spirit soared free on the plains, and his wisdom touched the generations. Have I told you that you have your own song? A woman named Billie Holiday wore a gardenia in her hair and sang beautiful blues to the world. Her voice, full of sadness and joy, made people feel deeply and add their melodies to the chorus. Have I told you that you are strong? A woman named Helen Keller fought her way through a long, silent darkness. Though she could not see or hear, she taught us to look at and listen to each other. Never waiting for life to get easier, she gave others courage to face their challenges. Have I told you how important it is to honor others' sacrifices? A woman named Maya Lin designed the Vietnam Veterans Memorial to remember those who gave their lives in the war, and the Civil Rights Memorial to thank the many who fought for equality. Public spaces should be filled with art, she thought, so that we can walk amidst it, recalling the past and inspired to fix the future. Have I told you that you are kind? A woman named Jane Addams fed the poor and helped them find jobs. She opened doors and gave people hope. She taught adults and invited children to play and laugh and let their spirits grow wide. Have I told you that you don't give up? When violence erupted in our nation, a man named Martin Luther King Jr. taught us unyielding compassion. He gave us a dream that all races and creeds would walk hand in hand. He marched and he prayed and one at a time opened hearts and saw the birth of his dream in us. Have I told you that you're an explorer? A man named Neil Armstrong was the first to walk on the moon. He watched the world from way up high, and we watched his lunar landing leaps, which made us brave enough to take our own big, bold strides. Have I told you that you're inspiring? A man named Cesar Chavez showed farm workers their own power when they felt they had none. The people were poor, but worked hard and loved the land. Cesar picketed, prayed, and talked. The people listened to their hearts and marched for their rights. Si se puede, Cesar said. Yes, you can. Have I told you that you're part of a family? A man named Abraham Lincoln knew that all of America should work together. He kept our nation one and promised freedom to enslaved sisters and brothers. This man of the people, simple and plain, asked more of our country that we behave as kin. Have I told you to be proud to be American? Our first president, George Washington, believed in liberty and justice for all. His barefoot soldiers crossed wintry rivers, forging ever on. He helped make an idea into a new country, strong and true, a country of principles, a country of citizens. Have I told you that America is made up of people of every kind, people of all races, religions, and beliefs, people from the coastlines and the mountains, people who have made bright lights shine by sharing their unique gifts and giving us the courage to lift one another up, to keep up the fight, to work and build upon all that is good in our nation. Have I told you that they are all part of you? Have I told you that you're one of them and that you are the future? Have I told you that I love you? The end. So we're going to be doing a watercolor project. So I've got my watercolors here. And we're going to be tracing our hands. And the reason why we're tracing our hands is because Martin Luther King dreamt of a day when people of different colors could hold hands. And so I feel like hands and friendship are all very symbolic of what Dr. Martin Luther King wanted to happen in this country. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to trace my hand a couple of different times. So I've got a permanent marker. Now, a lot of times you don't want to be going around the house with a permanent marker. So you have to ask permission. But we're using a permanent marker so that we can paint later and the marker won't smear. All right, so there's one handprint. I'm going to turn my paper and then I'm going to lay down my hand another way and I'm going to crisscross one hand on top of the other. So here comes my next hand. And it might even be helpful to have somebody help you with the hand tracing, just because drawing with the hand you're not used to drawing with is a little tricky sometimes. All right, I'm going to turn it again. And I'm going to add another handprint. And again, I'm going to overlap. So what's interesting about using color in art is that every color is really valuable. And when you mix different colors, you can come up with some really beautiful new colors. And sometimes when you put opposite colors right next to each other, it makes them look even better than when they were by themselves. So working with colors is a lot like working with people, that you can bring out the best in each other by working with one another. You can come up with something new and creative by working together. All right, I think I want to add one more handprint. Let's see, I'm going to turn it this way so that I have a hand coming off in this direction. I'm going to stretch my hand way up this way. So I like doing this project where we paint the hands different colors because it's fun to experiment and see what new colors you get. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I've got all my handprints out. Now I'm going to start with my first hand. I'm gonna make each hand a different color. So I'm gonna start with yellow. I think I'm gonna start light to dark. That's what I'm gonna try to do. So I've got my watercolors and my water, and I got lots of yellow paint on here, and I'm gonna paint the inside of my first hand. And even if another hand overlaps it, I'm still gonna paint the whole hand, because that's where the fun mixing is gonna happen. There we go. All right, I'm gonna turn my paper. And I'm gonna do my next color. Let's see, I think I will do orange next. Actually, I'm gonna go for my bright orange. So the more colors you add to this painting, the prettier it's gonna get. And you can see when I'm taking the orange and I'm going into the yellow, it's mixing together and another color of orange yellow is being created. So there's another shade of color that's adding by mixing those two colors. Let's turn the paper. All right, let's see what happens if I mix orange and turquoise. Sometimes it gets a little confusing about which hand is which. So orange and turquoise are opposites on the color wheel. And so what that means is when they're right next to each other, it makes the orange look a little bit brighter and it makes the turquoise look a little bit brighter. And then when you mix them together, it softens them, makes them less bright. So these two colors like to sit right next to each other because they look better that way. All right, let's keep going. Let's try, let's see, do I have a magenta? I do. All right, I'm gonna try a magenta and see what happens. So magenta is a mixed color as well. Magenta you get by mixing together purple and some red and white. And because it's got purple in it, it looks really good with yellow. And because it's got some pink and red in it, it also looks really good with green because red and green are opposite colors. And there it made a pretty softer color, didn't it? With the turquoise. So we get all sorts of beautiful new colors when we add layers of colors. It's more interesting that way. All right, let's do green as the last color. Let's see what happens with green. So whenever Martin Luther King Day comes around, it's great to remember all he did. It's wonderful to do that. But it's also a great time to think about how we each could make a difference in the world, just like he did. What can we do to make the world a better place? So I like to do that each year. Think about how I might use my gifts. What can you do? You can do small acts of kindness. It doesn't have to be something super big. Small things. You do small things and they make a great difference to somebody. So look at all these pretty colors happening. We've got green, we've got the green and yellow mixing together. We've got some green and orange that's almost creating like a brown color there. And then we've got the green and the magenta. Remember, they're kind of opposites. So they like to make a softer color. All right, I think this looks really, really pretty. And then I would just pick one of your favorite colors to paint around the outsides, just to finish off the art piece. And it just is really pretty, and it reminds you of friendship and people loving one another. And just, I think it's a great way to celebrate Martin Luther King Day. So I hope you have a great day and you get to do some artwork today and be with your family and friends, but also spend some time and think about all the important things and how no matter how old you are, you can still do important things. Make a difference to somebody else.